Hi everyone, welcome back to beginners piano class, and this is class 6. We'll be talking about chord extensions. Though we were supposed to go into our major scale fingering exercise, but we discovered that that is not part of the scheme of work or the curriculum for this session, for this class. So that will be on our next class. We will deal with that. So we are running through the session of chords, everything that has to do with chords, and we talked about chord modes, chord formation, the formula for chords, chord modes, and we will be talking about the chord extensions. So now, briefly, we have many kinds of extension in chords. We have lot of extensions. And now if you are now being introduced to jazz music, then we'll have a lot of extension like the sharp 9, flat 9, dominant 7, flat minor 7, sharp 11, and all of those are extensions. So but we'll be talking about the primary extension that every pianist should know and should be able to play. All right, so we have here the major 7, we have the dominant 7, we have the minor 7, we have the 6th, we have the add 9, and we have the 9. Add 9 and 9, they are different extension. We have the 11th extension, we have the 13th extension. So, and in our previous class back, we talked about scale degree. So this scale degree that we've learned in the past will now really help us to know how to form this extension. So without wasting much of our time, let's talk about the major 7 extension. So now, how do we form the major 7 extension and how do we use the major 7 extension? That is the two most important questions that we need to ask and must answer. All right, so let's talk about how to form the major 7 extension. How we form the major 7 extension is simply, first of all, let's do a recap on our scale degree. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's stop here on the 13 because our extension will be stopping on the 13. So now we are talking about major 7 extension. Major 7 extension means that our extension will stop on the 7, right? So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are 7. So what it simply means is that we'll be adding this 7 to the chords that we have. Now we ask ourselves, where are we adding 7 to? We are adding 7 to our major chord. That's why it's called a major 7. So what is a major chord? That is a normal triad. Your 1, 3, 5 that we talked about in our chord formation. So if these are 1, 3, 5, these are major, so we simply add the 7, so it becomes a major with a 7, a major 7. So this is how we form a major 7 on the keyboard, and we are forming this on this key of C. We can form it in any other key, regardless of the color or the position. So now this is a major 7 on the key of C. Now that we have formed this major 7, how can we use, or how do we use this major 7? Most of the times, the major 7 can be used as a 1 chord or can be used as the 4 chord. Most often can be used as a 1 chord or can be used as the 4 chord. So we will use it as a 1 chord and we'll also use it as a 4 chord. So let's try it down. This is our 1 chord, right? We are on the key of C. C major, yes, C. And C major scale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back. Right? Alright. So now, we said we can use a major 7 as a 1 chord. So these are 1, right? So it can be used as 1. And it can also be used as 4. What I mean by it can also be used as 4 is that you can also form a major 7 on your 4 chord. And when I mean 4, don't forget our scale degree, what we discussed about in our last class. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our 4. That means that we can also form a major 7 on our 4. How do we do that? Now, we'll start here. We play our major first because it's called major 7. Major. Our 4 is major. I hope we have not forgotten about that. Our 4 is major. So we now count the 7. How do we count the 7? We don't start from this C to count. We start from the key that we are forming, or the note that we are forming our chord to count. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are our 7 of our major on F, not on C. On C it was this one, but on F it is this one, because we are counting from F. So that is how we are able to form our major 7 on F. So what I was trying to explain was that you can either use the major 7, you can form the major 7 on C, or you can form it on F and play. It will sound nice. Not that you can't form a major 7 on any other notes, but most of the time they sound very well in combination to other, and most of the time in the songs we listen to, they sound nice in the song. So let's take an instance. Let's do an example. All right, so I want to play one chord 4 times. I'll play the 4 chord 4 times. All right, and then I'll just be going and coming. 1 chord 4 times, 4 chord 4 times. Let's see how they will sound. So all right, so let me start with 1 chord, with their major 7 chord. Now, why do we really need to be playing our major 7? That I think it will be, some people will say it's stressful. That in fact, since I know my triad, let me be playing my triad chords instead of stretching my hands. Okay, stretching my hand. Now, why do we need to learn our major 7 chord? You see, when you are playing your major 7 chord, this is actually triad. Okay, it sounds okay, but it sounds so basic. So what the extension does is that it adds more color and flavor to your sound, to your tone, to your playing. So now I'll be switching from a triad to our major 7. Let's go. All right, so you see the difference on how it sounds. Let's switch to triad. Okay, it sounds so serious and so defined, so serious, and everybody that is musically inclined will know that you are playing a major chord, just 3-note chord. But if we begin to make it complex, we make it a major 7. Let's see too, it will add color. See the way it's sounding. Don't forget what you do here from 1 to 4 here, you can still do the same thing, just the rule of octaves. Okay, so I will give you an exercise on this particular major 7 extension before we move to the next one. So the exercise I'll be giving you is that you'll be playing your major 7 chord on your 1, play it on your 4. You keep on going like that, upward. Keep on going till you get to the very last end, and then you play it ascending. Come back. Don't rush. Take your time. Make sure you get it. It enters your hand. You can also look at my fingering, what I'm using. Though we'll talk about chord fingering later in our class, and also scale fingering, so no one is left behind. And you can also play them as a broken chord. That's what we call broken chord. Let's see. A broken chord in an advanced term is called arpeggios. You arpeggios it. Okay? Alright. Alright, these are actually exercise for advanced class when we progress. Alright, so now that's the exercise for that major 7 I would want you to practice. Now let's move to our dominant 7 chord extension. Dominant 7. Now when we talk about dominant 7, I would want us to pay attention to this one. When we talk about dominant 7, what do we really mean? Now, dominant 7 is it's kind of a chord quality or a chord mode, let's say a chord mode or a chord quality that has this how do I put it now? This feeling of drawing you back to your one chord. So it stands mostly as a chord quality or as a chord mode that draws you or that takes you back to where you started from. So it's a chord that has this pull of taking you back to the beginning. So whenever you hear about dominant chord or dominant 7 chord, always think about a chord that you want to play that will take you back to the beginning of on where you started, because music is all about telling a story, starting from somewhere, and you get to the middle, and after achieving what you want to achieve, you now want to go back to where you started from or where you're coming from. Okay, so music is like going to the market to buy something, and after buying what you want to buy, you don't want to stay in a market there. You would want to come back, or you would love to go back to your house with what you have gotten or what you have achieved. So that stage where you want to go back to your house is called a dominant sound, because you have already dominated and take charge. You have achieved what you want to achieve, so you want to go back. So whenever you hear about dominant or dominant 7, think of a chord that you want to play, or a mode that will sound as if it wants to draw your attention, that wants to draw you back to your one or where you started from. And of course, on a key of C, your one is always your C. Of course, it's always your C. And now your dominant on your major scale, on the rule of your major scale, your dominant is your 5. If you remember in our previous class, I said that our 5 is our major. Why? Because it was basic. So now that we are getting closer to advanced concept. So our 5 is now dominant because we are dealing with chord extensions now. So our 5 is now a dominant chord. So we can now add dominant 7, we have dominant 9, we have dominant 13, we even have dominant sharp 5, dominant flat 13, 7 flat 13, and all of that. So they are actually very, very much, they are very plenty. So our 5 is dominant. So whenever you want a pull that will take you back to where you started from, you have to go to your 5, and that will take you to where you started from. All right, so let's deal with this dominant 7 chord, and we will be dealing with this dominant 7 chord on our 5, so that it can we can use it as a good representation on what we want to discuss about dominant 7. So this is our major, our dominant 7 now. These are major, minor, major, dominant 7. So we will be forming, what that means is that we will be forming our dominant 7 on our 5th note of our chord. These are 5th because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, according to what we learned previously on our scale degree. So these are 5, right? So we'll be learning our dominant 7 on our 5th degree of our major scale on the key of C. So these are 5th degree. So how do we now form this dominant 7 chord? Dominant 7 chords are formed when you play your major chord and you add your flat 7. As simple as that. So let's form that together. So these are our major chord. Don't forget, we started with our major, that 4 is major, 5 is major. So now that we have our 5 as a major, which I believe you still remember how we got here. So now, having your 5 as a major, how do we turn it to a dominant 7 chord? So for us to turn it to a dominant 7 chord, we will start from the 5 and count up to 7. This is it. 1, 2, 3. We are not starting from our C again, our 1. We're starting from the 5 to count. So we are looking at this 5 as the root. So because we want to form our dominant 7. I hope we are getting it. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is our 7. So now that we have our 7, so this is actually the chord, the note that when we add to this our major, it becomes a dominant 7. In our advanced class, I will really have an in-depth class on why this chord makes it a dominant 7. But for now, I want you to get the concept. I want you to get the chords in your hands, and I want to be able to play them. Okay? And of course, we will still talk about chord fingering so that you know which kind of finger to use to play your chords. But for now, I want you to look at the screen and use exactly the same chord, the same fingering I am using for the chords for yourself. Okay? So these are better ways for us to learn. So for us to get our dominant 7 chord on our 5, we play our major chord, and then we add the 7. Why is this 7? Because we counted from here, from a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 7. So a major plus the 7 becomes a dominant 7. So this is now our C major 7, F major 7, G dominant 7. So now let's take, for instance, let's just be playing around. We'll play from a 1, 2, we go to 4, we go to 5. Can you now I don't know, can you observe how the 5 chord, that is the dominant 7, how it's longing to pull you back, the tension of wanting you to go back to the 1 chord. So that is what really dominant chord does. So let me add the left hand. Okay. Right? So we can actually still play that with our triad. This is it. So if we are playing with our triads, so that means we'll be using major for the 5. But if we are playing with extension, our 5 will no longer be major, but it will be a dominant chord. So let's play with our extensions. F extension, F major 7, then G dominant 7 extension, resolve back to the 1. Alright, so now the exercise I would want you to practice now that we have added our dominant 7, this is what I want you to practice. This. So you'll be going like that. So it will be like this. So you descend it back. Alright. Get your hands on it. Get your hands on it. Get your hands. Get your hands. So you can see the fingering I'm using. Alright. Now let's move to the next one, to the minor 7 chord. Minor 7 chord. When we talk about minor 7 chord on our last class, we talk about modes. We talked about how to form our minor 7 chord. So let's do that let's do that on our 2 chord. All right, because according to the major scale mode, the 2 and 3 is minor, 2, 3 and 7 are minor. So we will be using the chord modes to address these extensions. So on the 2 is minor. So now, and this is minor, right? So now let's form a minor 7. Now, before we form a minor 7, let me take you back to the concept of how we got minor 7 here. Normally on the key of, if we are going out of the key of C, we now want to start afresh, building our foundation from the key of D. So this is actually using the major scale formula. This is it. So this is actually the right fingering. Oh, don't worry about that. We'll talk about fingering. All right. Now, so if we were to form chords on here, now using the rule of third, this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. So this is actually a D major chord. But if we are to bring this to the context of C being the root, that means that this is not meant to be a major, it means to be a minor. And for us to get a minor, we need to flat the third, which is 1, 2, 3. So we need to flat the third. So if we flat the third, flat means bring it down half step. So we bring it down half step. Can you now see that it becomes a minor that we have been playing since? So we didn't have to go through the stress of running the scale on D, knowing our major before flattening it. Just you staying on the key of C, you can just follow the formula of creating chords. You will automatically get it as a minor. So now that we have gotten it as a minor, now we want to play a minor 7. Let's count our minor 7. And if we are to get a minor 7, we are not counting from the 1, we are counting from the key we want to get it from. So this is D, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is now the note that makes it a minor 7. So when we play this, our minor with this, it gives us a minor 7. So now I can tell you that this is C major 7 and this is D minor 7. So you see, it gives good quality. So now what we want to achieve at the end is that we will be able to play our chords in triads, and we will still be able to play it in with our 7s like this: C major 7, D minor 7. So this is E minor 7. So I will leave you to figure out this one for yourself. All right, so this F major 7, then this is G dominant 7, and this is A minor 7. If we are to form it, then this is B diminished 7. Diminished 7. Let's just talk a brief about diminished 7 because we have not really talked about it much. Diminished 7. So diminished 7 is actually, don't forget when we play our diminished chord, we talked about diminished. That diminished is when you flat your third and your fifth. So if we are to flat our third and our fifth of this key, it will give us this. Now let's go to the key and know whether it's true. So on the key of B, if we are to follow the major scale on the key of B, this is actually 1, this is the major scale. Following the formula of major scale, this is the major scale on the key of B. And the rule of third in forming chord is we count 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is our major. We can do it here, or we can still do it here. This is our major chord on this key. So now how do we make it a diminished chord? So diminished chord, I said we flat the 3. This is the 3, 1, 2, 3. We flat the 3 downward to here, and we flat the 5 downward too. Can you now see that we have gotten the diminished 7? And if we are to bring it to the context of C, see now that this is the diminished 7 we talked about. So what happened was that I didn't take you people through starting from the key, creating the major scale of this key to know your major before you can now flat it to your diminished 7. So what I did was that we according to C major scale, forming chords on your C major, the rule has already defined that for you, that when you skip in thirds, you will already get your diminished chord on the key of C. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because work has already been done for you. Then back one. So now let's form a diminished 7 on the key of B. So for us to do that, we'll start from B and then we will count under the major scale of C, not under the major scale of B. Under the major scale of C, we will count all the notes till we get to 7. So let's start from here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the note that makes it 7. This is our A, key A, or our La chord, La note that makes it our 7. So now if we are to form our diminished 7 chord, we first of all play the diminished and then we add the 7. So this is our diminished 7. Then we resort back to our 1, right? So this is our diminished 7. At times can work as the 5, can be substituted for the 5. If you don't want to play the 5, you can play the diminished 7. All right, so let's run through it. Let's run through, starting from our major, from our 1, which is the major 7, our 2, which is the minor, our 3, which is the minor, our 4, which is the major, our 5, which is the dominant 7, our 6, which is the minor 7, our 7, which is the diminished 7, and then back to our 1 chord, which is our major 7. So now the exercise I want you to do is play them, follow using the same fingering I am using. Alright, so now we have been able to achieve down to our diminished 7. So the other extension chords are just to add flavors, which are, let's say, let's just take one for instance. Let's play a 13 chord. So we'll be looking at a dominant 7 13, a dominant 13 chord. Now for us to play a dominant 13 chord, let's use our 5, since our 5 is a family of dominants. So this is our dominant, right? Now this is our dominant 7. Now if you want to play a dominant 13, what you need first to do is that you must look for your dominant 7. You must make sure that you played your dominant 7 before you can now look for the 13. So how do we look for the 13? We start from the 5 and count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. So our 13 happens to be our E or our mi note, our key E or our mi note, or our 3 on the key of C. 1 2 3. So this happens to be our 13 if we are to count from our 5, which is where we want to form our extension from. So now, having known that our 13 is the 3, so we'll play our dominant 7 and then we will add the 3. Now if you notice that the distance between this chord we play and the 3 here, we don't have any other extended hand for us to play this. If you notice, I use another hand, I cross my hand to achieve this. So what happened is that, just like what we talked about, that this 13 here is still here. Look at it, this note here is still this note here. So if we are to count from here, 1 2 3 4 5 6, our 13 here is still our 6 here if we are to count from here. So having this, you can still add this one, you can still add the chords like this, they are still 13. Or you okay, let's go with this one, I don't want to go deeper. So we can still have this, we can still add this, and then if we add everything together, it sounds, these are 13 chords. So these are 1 4, then dominant 13, so back to our 1 2 3 4 5, dominant 7, make it 13, means you add this one, then 6 7, dominant diminished 7, then back to your 1. So I hope you have learned something today in today's class under chord extension. Now, it is not a must that you must be using this chord extension in any song or anyhow. It's just to add flavor and also to add varieties to your playing, and also make your playing stand out. So now how you use this information is now left for you. So you use it wisely and learn it. Let your hands get your hands on it. Let your brain muscle adapt to it. And in our next class, we will talk about inversion. In our next class, inversion. All right. So when we get to our next class, we'll talk about inversion. And let me just brief you. Inversion makes your playing sound nice, and how you voice your chords that give and add beauties to your chords. So I want you to stay focused, and also I want you to subscribe to the channel. I want you to click the notification button, and also share the video, this particular one, to your loved ones and your friends that are intending learning the piano from scratch. All right, so that when we post the next video on inversion, you'll be the first to see, and it's going to be fun, I promise you. Thank you and stay blessed.